Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 2. So while we have only 2 episodes left, of Superman and Lois for this season, we actually had no episode this week. It probably would have been yesterday from when this video comes out that the episode should have been, airing. So yeah, we've had a week off again. But I guess that's like the silver lining. There's no more breaks from this point forward for this season, as we do only have 2 episodes left. Now, as we saw at the end of last episode, we had Ali beginning the merging of, our world and the Bizarro world. And based off the trailer for the next episode, we won't be waiting until the finale to see the impact it has on our world. But one big thing that was, randomly and I'd say unexpectedly revealed over the past week or two that I wanted to wait until we had these break in episodes to talk about, because this will include very interesting ramifications for things moving into season 3 of Superman and Lois, but also just the larger Arrowverse as a whole. And along with that random and unexpected piece of news, we will also go over some final promo material for some stuff from the final 2 episodes of this season. But of course, throughout the video, let me know your various thoughts, opinions, theories, predictions, all of that, especially around this, piece of news that was dropped. Very curious to hear what you guys think and where it could lead and what it could exactly be. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, I want to show you support and you're looking forward to how Superman and Lois, season 2 wraps up, want to drop a like on the video to do all that. So the first thing we're going to go over is in relation to the cliffhanger for season 3, or the setup for season 3, as well as the final moments of this season. Now, this was from a piece from TV Guide magazine in the lead up to the next episode that airs on the 21st of June. So next week or this coming week, depending on when you're watching this video. So there isn't a link to this online, I don't think, unfortunately. So I will just have to show a picture from the actual magazine on screen. So hopefully that's not too annoying. But we will read out the parts relating to the end of the season before moving into the ending specifically and the lead into season 3. As season 2 of the standout superhero saga races to a dramatic close, all hell breaks loose in Smallville. We kind of went crazy with the spectacle, showrunner Todd Helbing excitedly admits of the final 2 episodes. In tonight's action-packed hour power, mad cult leader Ali Alston ramps up her plan to fuse the multiple universes at play in the series into one. Having already merged with her Bizarro world self, Ali has also figured out how she can gain even more powers by draining those of Superman or Clark Kent. That forces everybody else to step up, Helbing teases. He literally can't do anything. Clark's wife Lois, their twin sons Jonathan and Jordan, vigilante John Henry Irons and his daughter Natalie run point on saving the day. Still, global chaos reigns in the June 28th finale. Even after Clark and his bestie Maya, Lana Lang, rally their panicked neighbors into action, a series of unimaginable events threaten not just the Kansas town, but also the very existence of mankind on Earth. It's bonkers, said Helbing. So what possibly happens at the end of, of episode 14 maybe, leading into the finale, which plays into this, series of unimaginable events? Now, I'm sure there will be a cliffhanger at the end of, or at least towards the end of episode 14, especially considering the story for this season. I think we are all very curious in some way, shape, or form in regards to how Superman gets back to being, Superman after the events of last episode. So maybe the cliffhanger or part of the cliffhanger maybe ties into what's going on with him. But let's move on to the parts relating to the end of this season. How or if Ali's onslaught is reversed is as secret as Clark's identity. What Helbing can reveal is that viewers will finally find out how Superman and Lois fits into the Arrowverse. Throughout the finale, Lois's father, General Lane, mentions things where you're going to be like, wait, what? And then he gives a speech that is very clear. You learn everything from him, the executive producer promises, adding, General Lane has the most inspirational grandfather/father moment that he's had so far in the series. And that's not it. Look at this last freaking paragraph. Finally, expect a last-minute visit from Arrow veteran David Ramsey's John Diggle, although the fan fave's presence has more to do with Superman and Lois' future than its past. That scene is to tee up our big bad for season 3, Helbing says. Better get your rest, Smallville. Well, yeah, you probably should if there's another villain coming, Jesus. 2 in a row. Ever since Superboy, ever since the Kents have come back, it hasn't been smooth sailing for Smallville. But anyway. So if General Lane is meant to be referencing presumably like other characters or moments from the Arrowverse, or maybe cities, just or general events, I guess that's moments as well, whatever it might be, but we are going to have a reaction along the lines of, wait, what? Does that mean there are minor changes, if not major changes in certain areas? Because we know that Superman and Lois is set in our present day roughly. It's not in like 2032 or 2046 or whatever, anything like that, none of those weird future years. And for those that doubt that, like even this season, they referenced Sarah's year of birth, which is 2006, and she had her 15th birthday earlier into the season. So at least it's 2021 or 2022. I can't remember the last time they referenced the exact date, but we know they've jumped like months at a time throughout this season, might I say. So we might be into 2022 at this point. But regardless, whatever is brought up in the finale for this season, it's coming from General Lane's mouth. He's the one pushing this all, pushing this information through to us, the audience, and I guess other characters on the show. Now, I wonder whether it has to do with keeping the whereabouts of the Kents like under wraps for the most part. Like they could just say, yeah, it's just in the Arrowverse as we know it, but there's a specific reason why certain things haven't happened in regards to maybe other characters wondering where Superman is or questioning it, and the same thing for the Superman and Lois character sides in regards to not referencing things like that as well. Like it is hard to predict precisely what will be revealed in regards to specifics, as well as just the overall fit of Superman and Lois as a show into the Arrowverse, because it's very important to remember, he says it's how Superman and Lois fits into the Arrowverse. It's not, oh, what's going on with Superman and Lois and the Arrowverse? Is it still connected? He says how it fits into the Arrowverse. So he's saying it's still in the Arrowverse in that quote. But Todd Helbing, the showrunner, did promise we would get answers to most of our questions come the end of this season, so it looks like he is definitely holding up that promise. But of course, we can't ignore the larger elephant in the room from that article, and that is that Diggle will be showing up right at the end of the season, at the end of the season 2 finale for Superman and Lois, and it will have to do with things moving forward rather than like referencing past events like his, pretty much his first appearance for the most part in season 1 was mostly about. He's just referencing Crisis and Oliver Queen and various team-up moments and stuff like that. This seems like it's going to be a more like, hey, I'm here, and holy crap, you got to hear this. But as Todd Helbing does say, it's to set up the big bad for season 3. Now, what could that setup be? Well, we know that Diggle is based in Metropolis at the Argus branch over there. That's where he moved to with Lilo at the end of the Arrow series finale, and has assisted mainly Team Flash since that move in regards to like Argus related things, sometimes in conjunction with Cisco, who's at, I think, the Star City Argus. So he is coming from Metropolis. So does it have to do with the former Superman villain that was locked up in Metropolis that has now escaped? Or is it a newer threat that has just been picked up by Argus first? Like maybe it's someone seeking out Superman, like a villain that comes in and is like, I want to challenge Superman, even though that seems very like cliche and a bit, a bit dated. Maybe it could be something along those lines. I mean, if you have any theories on what it could be and who the big bad it is that they are setting up, and whoever that could be, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear what you could be, bouncing off the walls. But for the rest of the video, let's go over some promo materials. So when the trailer came out for episode 14, the next episode we'll be watching in less than a week, we actually didn't get a synopsis for it. And I assume that was most likely to prevent spoilers from the previous episode, and that seems to be the case. So we got the synopsis for episode 14, as well as the finale, as well as promo images for episode 14. But let's go over the episode 14 stuff first, this episode being entitled Worlds War Bizarre, and here is a synopsis. A wary Lois holds vigil at Superman's bedside. Meanwhile, Jonathan and Jordan continue to worry about their father, who seems more human now than ever. Lastly, John Henry and Natalie work together to figure out the best way to defend against Ali Alston's powers. So the only thing I want to pick apart from that synopsis is the John Henry and Natalie stuff, where they're working on the best way to defend against Ali. Now, last episode, John brought up working on the suits where their power couldn't be drained by Ali's powers, and I'd be assuming it's referencing that. As I've said, I think in my trailer breakdown, and also maybe my previous review, it wouldn't surprise me too much if they could maybe implement something where they put in like fake energy, or at least like a battery or something like that, and that's what Ali drains, and maybe it harms her or affects her powers. Maybe that's something they could work on, but that's for us to wait and find out. But here are the promo images for episode 14. So they're not overly spoilery. They just sort of like reveal stuff that was sort of set up. So we have Clark here. He's out of the hospital or the DOD place, whatever you want to call it. But he's weak, as we saw we saw him out of there in the trailer, and he was very weak, and I think that's the same stuff going on here. So maybe he's just back to being human, if that makes sense. He can sort of walk around, but if he ever tries to use his powers, it either just doesn't work, or he feels a lot of pain and just sort of faints or something like that. But here he is with John. Then we see Lois looking up, the twins there, and then we get Lana, but not Lana, but the Bizarro Lana, the Superwoman Lana, whichever way you want to put her. Obviously, Ali Alston sent her on her way to finish off Superman. So it's obviously going to be up to Jonathan and, well, the Steels, John Henry, not Jonathan, it's going to be up to Jordan, as well as John Henry and Natalie to stop her, I guess. Now, whether that works is another question, but it probably doesn't help that Clark's out in the open as well going, oh, hi, I'm here, and he could just probably fly past all these people and grab me, but maybe he gets protected, I'm not too sure. But we do get Bizarro Lana fighting against Jordan. I'd assume that Bizarro Lana is just more powerful than Jonathan, the Bizarro Jonathan, but it's very important to remember, like, Jordan beat that Bizarro Jonathan after he had been here for like a while and had been exposed to the yellow sun, which depowered him a bit. In this case, Lana's looking like she's just walked out into the sun just now, so it won't really affect her too much, at least for a while. Then we have some images here of like Lois and Chrissy looking up in the sky, then Kyle looking up in the sky. I'm going to assume this is when the worlds start to like visibly merge. So even though they're promo images, they don't have like the VFX added to them at this stage, and they're in the open and stuff. So I would assume in the actual episode that they have like a red tinge over them, sort of like Crisis, if you want to call it. And like what we saw in the trailer, when I think it was like Lana, Sarah, and Sophie looked up in the sky from their garage, it was all red. I'm going to assume in the episode that's what's happening here in these scenes. Which obviously for Lois specifically is going to cause a panic because she knows exactly what that means. And then the final two things here is that we have Lois and Chrissy here. And I'm very curious to see this because, especially when we jump into the episode 15 synopsis, like, not really a spoiler because we're going to go over in a second, but Chrissy's the only character mentioned in the synopsis. So I'm wondering if this scene is setting up what the synopsis says. And I'm going to assume that might be the case, but we'll wait and see. But speaking of the synopsis or description for the finale, we have that. This season's finale is entitled Waiting for Superman. And this is the synopsis. Chrissy Beppo, with the authorization of the Department of Defense, has a message for the people of Smallville. Not only is the merging of planets real, it is happening. So this is spoiler free, pretty much as spoiler free as it can get, pretty much, which is good. Like, a finale is like the one episode. You probably don't want any major hints at events that are going to go down. I know we got like the General Lane thing and the Diggle thing from that thing, but like from that TV guide thing, but it's not really anything to do with Ali or anything. It seems like that's like the final 5-10 minutes of the entire season, which is usually like by that point you've defeated the villain. You're in like the cool down stage of the season, and then you set up the stuff for next season as well. Now, I'll probably say that the promo images for the finale will be a spoiler free as well, like we're saying with the synopsis, but we don't have those yet, so it's hard to tell. But I'm just going to assume, as I said before, that those final two promo images for episode 14 probably relate to that synopsis. And it's about, Chrissy wanted to get the word out in regards to what is actually happening, just so the people of Smallville just aren't sitting there and staring at the sky, because maybe that can make them even more sitting ducks for potential takeover. Maybe, we don't know. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on everything we went over in regards to like the final promo stuff leading into the end of this season of Superman and Lois. Always curious to hear what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. And I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.